Alright, I'm here to talk to you about Wasteland Volumes 1 and 2 from Oni Press. This is by Anthony Johnston and Christopher Mitten. This is the story of the post-apocalypse. It's about 100 years after the big wet, so some kind of gigantic flood, and it's about this small town. They are attacked by sand eaters. They basically look like zombies wearing robes, and then their town is just absolutely demolished. So what's left of the town, they say, let's go ahead to the big city. It's called New Begin. And then they hook up with a caravan that's on its way there. Then some more bad stuff happens. And meanwhile, all throughout the first volume, we are cutting back to the city and we are seeing lots of political intrigue going on there. We have this guy who's in charge of the city. He also has his own religion. And then the people from this town and some of the people in the city, they also have their own separate religion. Then you've got all of the council who reports to the guy in charge. And there's lots of backstabbing going on there. Lots of manipulations going on there, and seemingly this would be right up my alley. This feels a lot like if A Song of Ice and Fire was more blatantly set in a post-apocalyptic world like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I love the A Song of Ice and Fire books. I really love Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, so why did these two books not work for me? And I should say, this series lasted like 60-something issues. This is only, it's issues 1 through 6 and then 8 through 13. It skips issue 7 for some reason. So roughly the first year of this series. Why did it not work for me? First of all, the big thing, I think, is that there is way too much for me to keep up with. This series, there's a lot going on, and my head was absolutely spinning while reading the first volume, just trying to keep up with everything that's going on. You've got several characters that you're keeping up with in this town, and then they meet up with this caravan, and then at one point there is a character named Gris who died, and then on that same page there is somebody else who looks exactly like Gris, and I was very confused, and I didn't know, was he part of this town that hooked up with the people in the caravan, or was he part of the caravan? I had no idea, because this series isn't doing a very good job establishing who all these people are. It just kind of throws you in the deep end of the pool and expects you to know what's going on. And then there is so much plot stuff in the city that it felt like it needed its own separate volume for all of that stuff to develop before these people get to the city at the end of volume 1. And it was really frustrating for me trying to keep up with all this. And when you have something like a Game of Thrones, where there is a lot of political backstabbing and manipulations and stuff, you can get a lot further in one page of prose than you can in one page of comics. And so after reading 2 volumes of this series, I felt like things were only just getting started, and that's after 13 issues. Whereas you could cover so much more ground in 13 pages or, 200 pages of a Game of Thrones, and I don't feel quite as much like I am just lost and have no idea what's going on. If this was a series that, like, the whole series was at my library or something, I might be more tempted to just keep going and see where it goes. But right now, I don't really feel inclined to buy the next volume, which would set me back about $10, and then so forth until I get through, 8 or 9 volumes of this series. I just don't really have that desire to keep reading. Some of it worked, I guess. I think it's very well illustrated for the most part, although, like I said, sometimes a character will just show up and I'm getting them confused with another one. I think it is well written for what it is, but I do wish that it had paced itself a little better and didn't just try to throw everything at us all at once. Ultimately, it's unfortunate because I think at one time this could have been one of my top 10 series of all time, but it just wasn't working for me. So that is all that I have to say about the Wasteland series, or at least these 2 volumes that I read. Hopefully this was beneficial for you guys. Hopefully I didn't turn someone off if they were interested in reading it. Maybe you guys will like it. I just have to say it didn't really work for me. So that's all I have to say. I hope that you guys like this video, and I will be back in the future with something else. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day. Catch you later.